All right, we've had some technical difficulties, so hopefully you can hear us now. And are we live? No. We're having trouble with our sound. And Sandy, our technician, is going to let us know when she can hear us. Okay, our sound is on, so it was that thing. All right, sorry, we're going to start over here. Hello, friends, and welcome to Zoosday Tuesday, where we get together every first and third Tuesday to talk about conservation.
That's right. We want you to be a part of our conversation about conservation. Today, we are going to talk about bird migration because it's spring and there are lots of birds flying to their summer homes.
And we're wondering, what's your favorite bird? So go ahead and type your favorite bird and your first name into the chat box. You can type any questions you have or any stories about birds, and we will get back to the chat box at the end of the video.
Today, we're talking about bird migration. So I wonder, Elissa, can you tell us what migration is?
Sure. Migration is when animals and insects travel from one place to the other in certain times of the year. Lots of birds spend the cold winter months in the warm southern parts of the world, and then when it starts to get warmer here, they might travel back to Colorado and spend their summer months here, and then in the fall, there they go again, back down to the south.
And the birds are just beginning their spring migration over Colorado. Most birds fly at night because it's cooler and they can use the stars to migrate. The stars help them find their way to their forever homes, their summer homes.
So we're going to take a look at a map called Birdcast, and it's going to show us how the birds are migrating over Pueblo County. So here's our map, and you can see the red line, which means the sun went down. And as the sun goes down, that yellow blob gets bigger and bigger. That yellow blob is all the birds that are flying throughout the night, going north to where they're going to breed and make nests. Now, the yellow line is the sun coming up. A new day has begun, and all of those birds that flew all night are now finding trees to rest during the day. Maybe they'll eat something and get ready for their nightly trip again tonight. Last night, over 3 million birds flew over our heads.
But not all birds migrate. Some birds stay here all year round because they have everything they need throughout the whole year. Friends, can you think of any birds you saw during the winter? What were they doing? What were they eating? Type in the chat box if you think of one. While you think about it, we are going to look at a video about bird migration.
Western kingbirds started arriving in Colorado 2 weeks ago. Western kingbirds eat insects like grasshoppers and flies. They will have 5 eggs in a nest on the ground. You can help birds see the stars at night by turning off the lights. These house finches make a nest every year in the broken board on this porch. They do not migrate. They stay in Colorado all winter long. They eat seeds left over from the summer wildflowers. In the summer, they like to eat fruit and berries. They will lay about 4 eggs in this nest up to 6 times during the summer months. Birds around your house need protection from cats. Many large birds migrate during the day.
That is Lily, one of our turkey vultures here at the Pueblo Zoo. So Lily is about to celebrate what we think is her 36th birthday.
And how did Lily come to the Pueblo Zoo?
So Lily was a rehab bird.
And how do turkey vultures end up in rehab? What kind of accidents might they have?
So turkey vultures accidents usually involve like car collisions. So they'll be flying and they might run into a car or car runs into them while they're scavenging on the road. But turkey vultures are found kind of all throughout South America and North America. And then in Colorado, they migrate here for breeding.
Does she get restless at migration time?
We don't usually see that with her. I think that Lily has been in human care for so long and all of her needs are provided for her. Like having a warm shelter she can go into, which is the primary reason that birds migrate, is to move to warmer climates. So because all of Lily's needs are met, she doesn't really seem restless to us.
Mm-hmm. And what can people do to avoid having collisions with turkey vultures? Are there different times of the year when they need to look out for them more, or?
Yeah, so turkey vultures in this area are going to be more common in the warmer weather. And for sure, if you see like a carcass in the road, or if you see a bird in the road, you may want to slow down or try and avoid that area if you can.
Well, thanks for talking about Lily with us today.
Of course. I hope you guys enjoy getting to know more about vultures.
So yes, Harry, he is about 15, 16 years old. American white pelicans, they can live up to be about 20 to 30 years in captivity. In the wild, American white pelicans are super cool birds. They are migratory birds. They will travel from around Colorado, all of those. Yeah, you can see the black on his wings.
Yes, I can.
They will travel thousands and thousands of miles just for breeding season, which is around now. And then for the colder weather, he will fly back south, down south. So you find them in Florida, Tennessee, Mexico, all those wonderful places. Harry has this little vein on his beak, a little growth. That is normal for pelicans. They are basically breeding.
When they migrate, do they migrate in big flocks or separately? Big flocks.
They are gregarious birds, which means they will travel in flocks. When they reach their breeding site, there could be like 2,000 breeding pair at one place.
Wow.
It's crazy huge. They usually like to roost around like islands and whatnot to avoid predators like coyotes and fox and things like that.
Yes.
But, yeah, they do breed with one pelican for that breeding season.
And does Harry go inside at night, or does he stay out here?
He stay out here throughout the summer, throughout the spring. He will stay out here in the canal. He finds a little nesting area further down. But for fall, winter, when the night gets so cold, we bring him back to the barn.
So you don't worry about predators here?
No, here he can actually defend off for himself.
He's so big. There's nothing big enough.
Yeah.
And who's this guy?
Yeah, this is Houdini. He's our goose. He's we like to joke and say that he is Harry's pet.
I'm wondering how scientists know where the birds are and how they migrate. And Elissa, who is a biologist, has had some experience with bird banding. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so scientists have to know where the birds are going, what time of the year they're going and coming. And one of the main ways that we can track that is with something called bird banding. So scientists will set up clear nets, they're called mist nets, and the birds will fly into them because they can't see the net. And then we quickly go get the bird and we place a metal band on their ankle. It's kind of like a bracelet. And this band has a unique set of numbers on it, unique to that bird, so that it can be identified. And then we do measurements, maybe wing measurements or leg measurements, and then we release that bird back into the wild. And then later on in its life, if it's to get captured again somewhere else in the world, the band can be identified, where it came from, what time of the year it was captured. So scientists use that a lot to figure out kind of where they're going and coming and how they're doing as well.
Thanks, Alyssa. I know that at Birdcast, they also use radar. And so biologists know a lot about birds and where they're going. But we also need to know how are birds interacting with people. A kind of scientist that studies people and their behavior and how to change behavior is called a sociologist. And Ambry is a sociologist. So I'm wondering maybe if she could tell us a little bit about how people interact with wildlife and what we do to help make our interactions positive.
Absolutely. So there's three main ways that people are getting in the way of bird migration. So like we talked about earlier, birds travel in the dark when they're trying to migrate, and they use the stars to get where they're going. So when we have our outside lights on, it messes up their direction. So if we can make sure to turn off our outside lights and shut our curtains at night around 11 p.m. so we could give them all the star energy that they need to get to where they're going, that'll help them. Another problem is birds can't really see the windows when the lights are on. So if we can stop the window reflection with the lights and put stickers so they know it's not empty space that they can fly into, but instead to ignore it and keep going, that'll help them. And finally, we all have cats at home, but unfortunately our cats like to go after these birds. So the birds aren't able to make it where they need to because they're being eaten by our little house pets. So if we can make sure that we monitor our cats when we let them out at night so they're not going after those birds, that'll definitely help them out. Scientists actually estimate that house cats kill about 2.5 billion birds every year during migration season. So we need to keep those cats indoors.
Yes, we do. That's terrible. 2.5 billion birds. I'm going to have to keep my cat inside. So we're really eager to hear what your favorite bird is. Or maybe if you've seen birds that spent the winter in Colorado, they stay here all year round. And you can type those names of your favorite birds or any questions or comments you have in our chat box. But you know what I'm thinking is sometimes you don't know the name of the bird. You go outside and you see a bird and you can listen to it sing, but you don't know what bird it is. And sometimes it's really hard to identify those birds. So I want to share with you a really fun app that I have for my phone called Merlin ID. And it lets me identify birds by their song. One of the options is Sound ID. And it brings up this microphone. And when I hear the bird, then I click on the microphone and Merlin tells me what kind of bird it is. So let's try it now. We have a video and I'm going to start my Sound ID. So we can see that little bird in the tree. But what kind of bird is it? All right. I don't know if you can see this, but Merlin identified it as a house finch. And it brings up a picture, and that picture looks just like the picture of the bird in the video. So that little bird outside my house is a house finch. All right, so we're ready to hear from you about your favorite birds or any questions or comments that you have.
They say robins are the first sign of spring, but here in Colorado, I see robins all year round. Beverly asked, can you explain this?
So sure. So we have robins that live in Colorado all year long, just like you were explaining. They're usually a non-migratory species, but you just may not see them in the winter as much as you see them in the summer, because in the summer they're out foraging, they're making their nests, they're trying to find a mate. They're just way more active in the summer, and that's why you might see them more.
And Bill asked, is Merlin a free app?
Yes, Merlin is completely free. In fact, the people that make Merlin are eager for you to use it because they also use all that data, all the birds that you identify with your app, they get put into a big data bank. So it helps scientists know where birds are.
And Dennis asked, what are your favorite birds?
I like all the vultures. Here at the zoo, we have the Cenarius vultures, the turkey vultures, and black vultures, and all of those are my favorite because they're nice and big and fun to look at.
I kind of like the great horned owl. I have a pair of great horned owls that live near my house, and I really like looking at them.
I like those birds too. I think my favorite is the western kingbird, though. They're a migratory bird, and so they are not around in the wintertime. They're down in South America or Mexico, but they come back to my backyard every spring. And so when I see the kingbirds come back, I know that spring has finally arrived.
And Heather asked, there's Canadian geese in the park around the zoo right now, and people are feeding them bread. Is that a good thing?
Not really. Bread is not a natural food for Canadian geese. They have all the food they need. That's why they're here in Pueblo. They need the water from our ponds, and they find things to eat on the grassy yards, but they do not need bread. Bread is not good for them. They are a migratory bird. Some of them migrate up to Canada, as their name would imply. Some of them hang around in Colorado, but fly in different places. We generally always have Canada geese here at the city park, though. I think that's it. I think we don't have any more questions. If you think of your favorite bird, you can always email us at the Pueblo Zoo. We would love to hear from you and any of ideas you have about conservation, how we can help save birds during their migration. But thanks for joining us. We really enjoyed talking conservation with you. Bye.